Right, Gareth Bale inspired Los Angeles FC to their first MLS Cup trophy. The Wales captain came off the bench to score the equaliser against Philadelphia Union and send the match to penalties, which they then won 3-0. Let's get more on this from Calen Carr. Calen, you kind of said to me last week that if he plays in this match, it's all gone kind of horribly wrong for the kind of wrong reasons, if you get what I mean. But he did. He came off the bench. He's the perfect man, isn't he, for the big moments?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for someone to bring in off the bench in a moment where the game hasn't gone to plan, that's a pretty good option, Gareth Bale. And we've seen this before, haven't we, Vicky? We've seen it even at Real Madrid, where he wasn't able to find, his footing or get a lot of playing time when he stepped in the biggest of matches in the Champions League. He comes through, and that's what happened again today. I mean, this game was end-to-end, back and forth, one of the best finals, one of the most entertaining matches in MLS history. It looked like LAFC had this, and then they had lost it. They had to make some substitutions, of course, as the game went on. Gareth Bale comes in. He didn't look like he was really fully fit. And then all of a sudden, the ball gets wide. Less than 90 seconds left in the second overtime. And who does it find? He finds that moment. He gets up. He wins a header over Jack Elliott, who's 6'5", by the way. So you see the athleticism, the quality. I never should have expected anything otherwise in this, but it was a fantastic match. And then it came down to penalties, and LAFC come good in that moment.
Yeah, there's a Hollywood movie in there somewhere, isn't there? Look, the head coach, Steve Cherundolo, said that he wished Bale was still 24. We all wish that, I guess. But could you see him staying at the club beyond his 12-month contract?
It's a really good question. You could see it two ways, right? In one way, you say, all right, well, he's gone off with an incredible moment here in the final. Will be an LAFC club legend. Make no mistake now. Even he's only played a couple hundred minutes, and he scores one of the most important goals in their history, absolutely. And so you say you could take this two ways. You could say, now I'm going to go off to the World Cup and have this historic moment for Wales on the world's biggest stage, and then you call it a day. Or maybe you say, you know what? I want to come back and play a little bit. I love Los Angeles. I wasn't fully fit here. With some time, with a full off season, why not go back to LA? So I think if he does play again for a club football team, it will be LAFC. I could see it happening. I think they would like to have him back. You saw Cherundolo, the manager, speaking very highly. Everyone really seemed to get on well with him, even in the dressing room. So it's up to him. If he does want to come back, I could see it happening with LAFC.
That'd be fascinating, wouldn't it? Look, he has been struggling with injury for the last month, and every week, Wales are hanging on your every word. So do you think there's any concerns? We know it was only a cameo role, wasn't it, in this game? So do you think there are any concerns about him heading to the World Cup?
I think there are, especially when you think about it in what type of role he may be playing. We've seen Wales use him before in a substitute role. I could see that being maybe a little bit more where he is as far as his game fitness. When you look at, especially as match fitness, he has not been playing regularly, just 327 minutes in LAFC during his time over, and that's since July. So when you think about trying to kind of roll the dice and bring him from the beginning, that's a big risk at the World Cup. So I could see him potentially coming in more of a substitute role, similar to what we saw in this final, being able to come in and make a difference late on in a game. But he plays such a big role, a massive role for Wales, obviously, in their qualification process, and just sort of as a figure of this team. So whether he comes from the start or whether he comes off the bench, I could see him more in that substitute role. But look, I will be scared. As a U.S. fan, I have to be scared because you see it again. I said if he doesn't have a ton of minutes at club form, he can still make a difference on the international stage. We saw here in MLS, he doesn't need a lot of minutes, period, to be able to come in and make a difference. His quality, the world-class standards that he has, he can hurt you. So for U.S. men's national team perspective, we will be worried on opening day.
OK. Look, let's talk about the team itself then. It was the first time that LA had won the competition. How significant was this win for them?
It's massive for this club. I mean, this club began 7 years ago with a ton of hype and fanfare, have celebrity owners with Will Ferrell and Magic Johnson and the likes. And, they played beautiful football. We're the best team in the league at points. In 2019, they set a club record for our league record for most points in a season. Carlos Vela has been phenomenal. But they weren't able to get over the hump to that final pace to get that trophy in MLS Cup. They'd been stopped in these knockout tournaments that we have in the MLS Cup playoffs. And So you started to wonder, well, can this team really get it done? And they've done a fantastic job being ambitious, going out and making signings, the likes of Giorgio Chiellini and Gareth Bale, and players with that experience in the world's biggest football matches. And you saw it on the day. It was able to help them get over the top. But the culture they have set as a club, the excitement around this team in Los Angeles as a market, it's hard to make noise there. And MLS at times has struggled to break through. I wouldn't put this as the only standard, but there were celebrities littered throughout the stadium with Justin Bieber and, the likes. And it felt kind of like a Super Bowl, but also mixed together with I think the really authentic supporter culture they've built there, with that huge Mexican-American crowd and fan base in Los Angeles. So it's become sort of a new standard for Major League Soccer, and I think the game itself will really propel the league forward. There was unprecedented eyeballs on this with the likes of the world-class stars that were playing in the matches, and I thought the standard was quite high. So entertaining match, and I think it was really good for the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned it, didn't you? The fact that we saw the shots of Will Ferrell drinking beer from the trophy. And of course, as you said, he's part of the consortium who own the club. Does he love his involvement with LAFC then?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a good time being involved there, right? And anytime you get to drink out of a trophy, which I've only gotten to do once in my career, it's a blast. Will Ferrell was not around, I should add. But yeah, I think when you look at this team and the way that they're able to kind of build a culture that is unique to LA, right? Like, this represents Los Angeles. It's not an owner that just sort of waltzed in for the final. He's at the pitch, every day in the locker room, steps in, he travels with the team to away matches, and kind of lives and breathes the team. So it was exciting to see for him. And, there's always an added spectacle whenever you see Will Ferrell, and hoping that he grabs the microphone because he's always got something funny to say.
Yeah, he's hilarious, isn't he? Next time you're on, we need to see the photo of you drinking from the trophy as well. Just finally, obviously the USA are going to name their World Cup squad, I think, on Wednesday. England, of course, named them on Thursday here. So what can we expect from your team then? A number of Premier League players to be included?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll have the youngest team in the World Cup. U.S. men's national team will almost undoubtedly have the youngest roster. I think the average age is expected to be around 23. So there are a lot of people that are saying, that bodes well towards the next World Cup in 2026, where we will joint host it with the U.S. and Mexico and Canada. But I don't think this team wants to leave it to then. And when you look at the group as well, that first match against Wales is important. Then, of course, the big matchup that I'm sure we'll be talking about more as we turn the page towards England as well. So, and then Iran will be tough, difficult at the end. But I'm going to be at this roster announcement. The number 9 position is definitely a big question mark here to see in which direction does Greg Berhalter go, because we've got some good options, but none that have really sort of grabbed the position as of yet.
OK, we look forward to hearing from you on Wednesday, no doubt then. Thanks ever so much, Calen, as always.